man.
What did you do?
What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel, welcome back to the vlog, welcome to the pole building, and welcome to the day where we're gonna talk about the 5 things that I absolutely cannot stand about my 2021 YUKON Denali Duramax. Now, hate is a very strong word, and I'm gonna preface that these 5 things that we're about to list do not at all impact the satisfaction of my decision to pick this YUKON up, because truthfully, it's been an absolutely awesome vehicle, but there are a few things that I think General Motors really could have done a better job on. But every vehicle, whether it's a small Honda up to a Lamborghini or Koenigsegg, will have some idiosyncrasies that really just don't make sense for the end user, because hey, these manufacturers are making an entire vehicle, and sometimes the little details get missed. Now, I also think that I take on a pretty interesting perspective because I happen to have 2 2021 Duramaxes. That AT4 right there behind me, which is my kind of everyday truck, my hauler, my workhorse, if you will. And then now we have the 2021 YUKON Denali Duramax, and they come essentially from the same family. They share very similar frames, and it's a very similar platform when you're behind the driver's seat. It's just that the driver experience does alter a little bit, and I'm going to compare a few things to my AT4 Duramax as well, because I know I have a lot of truck enthusiasts out in the audience. Now, scouring the world wide web of YouTube, I did not find a video that was like this yet, and there's really not all that much content out for the YUKON Denali, so if you guys are interested in seeing more, definitely tap that subscribe button and drop a comment below as to what it is that you'd like to see. Now, this is the second video that we're making in the new pole building. You can see we still have our Christmas tree up because I'm filming this video the day before Christmas, or Christmas Eve, and I just wanted to pass my well wishes out to all of you. I hope you guys had an absolutely happy holidays and enjoyed your Christmas, and I want to wish you all an upcoming happy new year, man. 2022 is right around the corner. It's pretty wild. Also, that being said, we still have all of our entries over at Compliance Sweepstakes Services for Lone Star, which is that truck right there, aka Dream Diesel giveaway number 21. So we should be finding out who the new owner is going to be, if it could be you, sometime around December 29th to January 5th. So if you decided to get entered for this one-of-a-kind sand, brand new, High Country Duramax, that is a 2022 as a matter of fact, then be patient. That announcement is coming very soon. If you haven't already, follow us on Instagram down in the description below at Enthusiast Apparel and at Enthusiast on Facebook, because that is where the announcement will be made first before you see it anywhere else. So I've got 5 things that I really don't particularly like about the YUKON, and I'm gonna share them. They're not opinion based, they're actually design build based. I of course have my opinions about little things, but they're not really all that applicable because everybody has an opinion and most people don't agree with others. So number 1 about the YUKON Denali that I don't like. Now, I should also preface that hate is a strong word, and I really don't hate much. There are certain things that I guess would apply to that feeling, but this is kind of just things that I don't agree with. So number 1 is the wheels. This is a YUKON Denali Duramax. Denali denotes the top trim, premium grade, kind of king of the fleet, if you will, and a Denali, in my opinion, should come with the best wheels. But in this instance, we bought a Denali that has the Duramax, which is highly sought after, so a very premium package, if you will, and it has 20-inch wheels. It's a massive disappointment that I completely don't agree with, being that the Denali, when you purchase it, it's kind of somewhat like the AT4 that I have right here, which is essentially the top trim off-road package from GMC's lineup offering, comes with premium wheels, but this one does not. And I'll get to that reason why here in a second, and that kind of brings me into number 2, which again makes no sense because this unit right here has the ability to have power folding steps from the factory that GMC offers, but it doesn't. It has your kind of basic run-of-the-mill standard fixed step that has a small kind of paint to match grommet here on the side, and it just seems kind of somewhat out of place for buying a Denali package. And this brings us out to the reason why I found that when you buy a Denali, you're actually not getting the single Denali. There are multiple variants of a Denali that give you 1 or 2 or 3 more luxury items as you go up the list, which to me made no sense. And honestly, as a truck enthusiast, avid truck enthusiast at that, I bought a lot of Denalis and I never even really realized that they have like a Denali package and then they have a Denali Ultimate package. I do believe, don't quote me on it, correct me in the comments below if you'd like, that they just recently introduced that to mark up their vehicles a little bit more for very minor options that I don't think a lot of customers really know about unless they get into the nitty-gritty details. And truthfully, I was a little shocked when I found that Duramax right there behind me, which, if you don't know, are globally back-ordered because of the demand on them. So I kind of had to suffice with the package that I found, knowing that I'd probably just end up changing some of the things on it myself. So then the next three things are right here on the inside of the Yukon. Number one on the interior is the auto start stop function. You see this a lot on essentially all of the new vehicles, except for the Duramax trucks. Thank you, GM. Please do not put that into place. It makes absolutely no sense. But you see it on more eco-friendly vehicles, right? And this 3.0 liter Duramax is not to be weighed against the 6.6 liter Big Brother L5P, LML, LMM, LBZ, whatever. You guys get it through the fleet because truthfully, they're intended for different purposes. And yes, this thing gets ridiculous fuel economy. And I guess the auto start stop is supposed to aid and abet in assisting in getting increased range out of a single tank of fuel. But the auto start stop, it just feels kind of a little clunky in this thing. When the diesel motor turns off, it definitely cranks again and kind of shakes the vehicle a little bit when it cranks back on. And there's no way to go into the back end of the vehicle settings and disable it. So every single time I get in, I start it up, come right over here, and I immediately turn it off. It just becomes second nature, but you cannot pre-program that in the settings, which in my opinion is a little bit of a bummer. Now, being that we got this thing running, another feature that GM really didn't get right or refine all that well is the driver assist feature. Call it lane assist, if you will. It's this button right here. When you click it, you'll see that, well, A, nothing happens, so you enable it. You get this little indication light right here that it's on, but you don't get prompted like when you turn on the auto stop start or when you turn the parking assist on and off. You get the notification, whereas here all you get is a little tiny notifier up at the top, and honestly, if you're like me, the steering wheel kind of blocks that anyway. So this feature really does not work all that well. I really don't enjoy it per se, and let me explain. So when you're driving with that feature enabled, it's using the sensors and the cameras around the vehicle to essentially determine where you're at in the lane. And if you start to drift towards whether it's the solid or the dashed line, it will actually pull your steering wheel over to get you back to where it thinks it needs to be. For me, it's almost like you're fighting the vehicle's artificial intelligence when in reality, you're just trying to maybe avoid an obstacle, a tire shed, for instance, off of a semi, a dead animal, whatever the case might be. It will actually fight you, so you're not able to make a maneuver that I don't think the AI can truthfully predict. I'm not really the biggest fan of self-driving vehicles. I like Elon Musk a lot. I like what he stands for. He's a visionary. He's an entrepreneur. He makes things happen. He solves problems. But the self-driving thing as a vehicle entrepreneur, I'm just not all that excited about because I get a lot of enjoyment out of windshield time, and I know that you guys are very similar. And that brings me to the third option on the interior that I really just don't get. So on the AT4, it's different. What you do when you want to enable your automatic high beams is you press this little button right here on the outside of the steering wheel column control, and it turns on what is called automatic high beams. So for instance, turn this thing on, you're on either auto or you have your headlights on, one or the other. And then you come in here, you press this button, which I'm not going to do, and it will actually clean your windshield wipers. But they did something a little bit different. On this vehicle, they have your high beam indicator right here. So if you pull it back, it will let you know in that top corner that your high beams are in fact enabled, but it doesn't clearly tell you how to turn on this automatic high beam feature, which if you guys don't know, it's very nice. It will detect oncoming lights and it will let you know when somebody is within a range that could be blinded by the light, no pun intended, and it will automatically disable them from the camera that's up here that detects forward motion. Well, in this vehicle, I had to actually pull out the manual. I know, old school, it's kind of crazy, and read into it, and what you actually have to do is double tap the lever forward, and if you guys watch right up here, you'll see what happens. We got our high beams on now, and then if you do it again within 2 seconds, so if you see right up here, you'll see the light. When you push it forward once, it will turn the high beams on. You push it forward again, it turns them off. We'll come to find out there's a secret feature that if you push them on and within 2 seconds push it again, your automatic high beams are now enabled, and that's how you enable the high beam feature on the Denali without being told how to do so other than if you break the manual out. And now last but not least, being that this is a new GMC, it does not have the rear view camera function like Misfit does, my AT4 over there. It's just a bummer. It's honestly just one of those things that I've really fell in love with because you no longer get blinded by people high beaming you in the back, and at night it's very easy to see out of. You can actually use the low aperture of the camera on the vehicle and it illuminates what is behind you at night. It's super convenient for backing up and just getting a very clear read on the camera eyes that you have here and with your backup camera here. This vehicle did not come with it because of what I think is that global chip shortage. I don't really know everything about it, and if you do have more specifics, I'd really appreciate if you comment below because I've wanted to figure it out. I just haven't taken the time to do so. But there's like this global chip shortage that like all big manufacturers that make anything that have any amount of technology or gizmos or gadgets on are struggling to find. And in turn, they're actually not putting that feature in their new vehicles anymore because of this global chip shortage. So that for me, jumping out of Misfit, jumping into this Denali, being a feature that I've grown very accustomed to, that even the new Ram that we have, aka Bandit, has. It's getting wrapped right now, which is I can't show you guys. It's a really nice feature, and honestly, I don't really care all that much about going back to a standard rear view mirror. It just kind of feels like it's incomplete. So the takeaway from this is if you're in the market for a big SUV like a Yukon or Yukon maybe XL, Tahoe, or even a new pickup truck that's kind of in this big class, definitely something to bear in mind because you don't want to assume that you're going to get into a Denali and you're going to get everything that you would expect the Denali to come with. Now, fortunately, in this instance, I'm not all that upset about the exterior changes because I certainly am going to be making changes to this vehicle over time, and I can't wait to get that process started. And if anything, we're going to start that process right now because there's a few things that I can immediately change on this thing that I've been looking forward to. Oh man, I was 50% on the fence about using the 3M adhesive removal wheel because it's a trim panel and not paint. I figured, what could it hurt? Let's just try it out. It's gonna be way more efficient. Come to find out, that's not the move. This stuff is light and it actually worked up a little bit of heat and somewhat lifted the finish. Not that big of a deal. I already have a new one on its way. The back GMC emblems are gonna have to wait. Now we are talking, ladies and gentlemen. It makes a substantial difference when you delete that one little blemish from the front of these GMCs, especially when they're black or white. I'm telling you what, when I was shopping these things, I saw that they had kind of like the blackout appearance package again. I couldn't be all that particular with the ones that were available, so I decided to do what I do best, and that's modify everything that I own. And if anything, it's kind of making it more of what it is that we want to accomplish. And truthfully, there's not too many things that I'm going to want to do to this thing, but I definitely have a pretty healthy list of things that we are going to get done to it just to get it to where I know and you know that it needs to be. Babe?
You touched
Don't give me the resting Grinch face for modifying the Yukon already.
Stop finding my hat. I love it. I didn't love the red. I feel like, I don't know.
Looks way better.
Now we're really matching, which I think is adorable.
Misfit.
Mrs. Fit.
And Mrs. Fit. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I love it.
Yeah, it looks awesome.
Yeah, it looks
just don't look at the back.
Why?
Yeah.
What did you do now?
It'll be better this week.
Every
Somewhat.
time you touch my stuff.
And you know what? We're filming this just because we're truthful people in these parts.
Yeah, I saw right away. What did you do?
I was 50% on the fence on whether or not I should use the adhesive wheel.
I
Yeah, I got you hooked up with the Holy Grail. I know you're asking for that for a minute, but the adhesive wheel on this trim piece was not a good idea.
You did something I didn't ask for. You ruined my car.
1 minute.
And you didn't even take the sticker off.
Does anybody else really despise the stickers that go on the back of the paint of the vehicle?
Let me just get this straight. You touched my stuff. You broke my stuff. You did something I didn't ask you to do.
No idea what you're talking about.
And you didn't do what I asked you to do.
You got some nails. Can you work that off?
I don't want to scratch them.
Should we pick? Look at the nails on the girl.
Look at the shirt.
Look at the elf on the girl.
Look at the hat. It's the one time a year I wear red lipstick. I don't want to break a nail.
Don't.
I'm loving this. We hope you all had a very merry and
awesome Christmas.
Thank you for everything this past year. We are sincerely thankful for every single one of you. Be sure to like this, hit that subscribe button, and we'll see y'all in the new year. Yay! Also, this is actually one mod that I like.
So that's gonna wrap up our fun-filled little Christmas Eve vlog here today with the new YUKON Denali. I hope that you guys enjoyed this video. If you haven't subscribed already and you're new to the channel, definitely consider doing so. We love having you guys around. Stay on the lookout for Dream Diesel giveaway number 22, a big old surprise rolling in for 2022. It's gonna launch sometime right in the early parts of January. Let us know about some other mods that we should do to the YUKON. Obviously, we don't wanna go crazy with it, but there are certainly some things that absolutely need our touch. And thanks as always for joining us here in the new space. It's incredible to be making videos under a roof of a building that I contributed massively to with my own 2 hands. And now I know that we just hit 5, and this title is 5 things that I absolutely hate about the YUKON Denali Duramax, but there's one other thing. Being that I'm a father now, husband, and I have a family, I actually have no idea how to enable all of the cabin lights at one time when we have to deal with something. You can see we've got little Jack's car seat there in the back. We had an instance the other night, we were going out and checking out some Christmas lights. Little Jack dropped something, and he was letting us know in his 18-month tone, which is like not verbal, it's like you know, type of a deal. I wanted to hit the light, which I thought would probably be like right up in this area, or maybe down here to turn on all of the cabin lights, but it's not. And I still have no idea where it is. I could look in the owner's manual, which I'll probably end up doing, but I was expecting it to be a button kind of like... Oh, no, Casey, I just found. Casey, I found it. Okay, I guess we don't have to put that one in. You can keep that one out.